What are the different styles of CSS3 shadows that we have that have become a quite popular in short period of time? Text shadow. The text shadow and back shadow are the two different properties that gives the unique design to any element. Even multiple shadows to same element can be provided. Text shadow is a limited to particular text only, whereas box shadow is applied to whole section, yes, whole section, showing their importance in whole page. See, are there any provision in CSS3 for using images as a border? Yes. See guys, there is a border image property for applying images on the border. Using this property, we can alter the source, width, repeat, slice, and offset. Yes, there is a border image property for applying images on the border, right? Yes. Explain the use of multiple backgrounds in the CSS3, guys. Just go through this. It's possible to add more than one background to the element. Okay. Background image property. They are separated by commas, like assigning property to the given element. Their position, repeat, size, origin, clip, these are all. What is CSS resizing property? Resizing property, user can deliberately change the element size, okay, with respect to width and height. That is the meaning of it. How can we avoid repeated images in the background? Okay, see, there is a specific background repeat property. There is a background repeat property, okay, that must be defined to no, so that it does not repeat, so the image gets the property alignment. You can also give a specific direction to repeat the horizontally and vertically from this property as well. Are there any new properties for checking the limit of the length of the text in CSS3? See guys, text overflow, word wrap, word break are the three main properties which is used to checking the length of the text, Is there any provision for using pagination in CSS3? Yes guys. Yes. Is there any provision for using pagination in CSS3? Yes. During CSS3, ULLI structure, okay, unordered list structure, you can create a pagination directly and then give the design as preferred. Describe about CSS3 property flex in the few words. Flex property, yes. Flex. The Flexbox is the new layout model which is being used in what? CSS3. It's a new layout model, guys. It's a new layout model being used in CSS3. Used along with display. And its primary function is to what? Control the element's behavior in multiple screen sizes and devices. To control the elements behavior in multiple screen sizes and devices. See, what is CSS3 multiple column property? CSS3 multiple column property is easiest way of dividing section of particular element, just like newspaper, and there are various rules applied to it regarding count, gap, rule, style, width, color, span, like what. See, can we use gradients using CSS3 directly on web page? Yes. There is a provision for using what? Gradients in CSS3 properties using linear and radial gradients. See guys, just go through this answer. See, what are CSS3 transitions? Explain their use in brief. See, CSS3 transitions are the properties which lets the change effect using CSS smoothly over what? Specified duration. Multiple changes simultaneously are allowed within one section. Define the use of new image property in CSS3. See, new CSS3 properties allows allows easy multiple changes using what border radius filter to display the to display in model using JavaScript. Now explain the use of media queries in CSS3. The latest web standards, media queries are the what? Latest web standards for crafting adaptable style sheets for tables. They are applied using what? Height, width of the device, viewport. Okay. Is how CSS3 is related to what? Responsive web designing. Media queries are introduced in CSS3, right? Yeah. Media queries, which are what? Latest web standards for crafting adaptable style sheets, right? Yeah. Media queries are introduced in CSS3, which are directly used for making websites responsive. Okay, RWD, responsive web design. And they introduce different CSS values for device specific width for appearing in the size of the device only. What are the main advantages of using CSS3? It helps web design pages generally. Okay? It helps design web pages. And it helps design web pages general and site-wide same values and class values, okay, and class use separated from HTML comes with animation, enhanced usability with borders, shadows, and newer properties. What are the limitations of CSS3? Yes, vertical rules of elements. They can't request web page. Not able to connect with what databases. Rules still not cleared on various selectors. Animated animation overview, animation interview questions, guys. So deliberate some information on using animations in CSS3. Yes, animations are fully supported in CSS3 only with properties and keyframes. What's the difference between transition and transforms in CSS3? CSS3 transitions allow CSS change in values over the specified time, while CSS transform can change the whole dimension of the elements with respect to 2D and 3D, two-dimensional and three-dimensional. Here's the difference between transition and transform. What are the keyframes in CSS3 animations? See, we can have many keyframes as we want on which CSS on which the CSS values will change, making the whole animation possible. So explain the attributes of CSS3 animation. Different attributes we have by this one. Animation name, animation duration, animation timing function, animation delay, like animation iteration count, direction, animation direction, animation fill mode, animation play state. These are the different attributes of what CSS3 animations that we have. Which is for what? I just go through it, you can understand this. See, animation shorten property. You can define all the above 6 properties in one go with a particular space between them and write notation. No need to write each specific names respectively. That is all. We can define all of the above properties in a single hand, in a single command, that is single property. Yes, animation shorten properties like this. Like this, we have to define all those 6 properties. You need not explicitly specify them. Okay, just a space separated. Now property values we can give. See what are the default values of the CSS3 animation property elements. These are the default values for each CSS3 animation attributes. Animation name, duration, time function, delay, iteration count, direction, fill mode, play state. You see play state like this. Animation name, the default none. Animation duration is defaults to zeros. Animation timing function default is. The animation delay defaults to 0. Animation iteration count defaults to 1. Animation direction defaults to normal. Fill mode default none. Default running. See, can we stop? Can we stop the animation at the last keyframe completely? Yes. The animation fill mode forwards. Okay, property. This is the property and value forwards. It can pause the animation at the last keyframe respectively, guys. And how will you differentiate between inline blocks versus float CSS attributes? While both are used for animating design flow of the page. See, while both are used for maintaining design flow of the page, both of them have certain positive and negative around them with inline blocks. You just go through it, guys. You can understand it. Yeah. How will you differentiate between inline block versus float CSS attributes? Like, see, what's the difference between display none and visibility hidden? This is already discussed, right? Display none is what it do not occupies any space, whereas visibility hidden what it occupies some space. Okay, it affects to the frame layout of the web page. See, what's the difference between cell padding and cell spacing? Cell padding and cell spacing. Both are CSS attributes for formatting only. Major difference is what? Cell padding applies what? Within the cell content. Cell padding is applied within the cell content. Within the cell content. While cell spacing is applied outside the between the two cells. Outside between the two cells. See, cell padding is the space between the content and the edges of the cell, while cell spacing is the is given between what? Two cells respectively. Space between the two cells. Cell padding is what? Space between the content and edges, guys. Content and edges, space between the content and edges is what? Cell padding. And cell spacing is between what? Two cells. Space between the two cells. These are all CSS box properties. What are the benefits of using CSS grouping? What are the benefits of using CSS grouping? These are standard CSS techniques to write clean code and make it more efficient. CSS groupings are used. Okay? So differentiate between width auto and width versus width 100% versus width inherit. See, width auto is what? Elements will take horizontal space within the container. It is with separate space for margin and padding with 100%. Element will take full space neglecting any margin or padding given to the element with the full container. Yes, these are all. Width inherit. Element will take the same width properties from its parent element. Width properties will be inherited to this element, yes, from its parent. That is width inherit. What is the difference between class and see guys, what is the difference between class and ID in CSS? Class and ID both are used to link what? HTML elements with their respective CSS. Whereas same class can be applied to what? Multiple elements with same nature of CSS representation. Then there will be no value, no one will be one value for being a unique only. So just go through this, guys. How to set Z-index property in CSS? So this is another unique property, CSS property, which is used for what? Stacking the elements, making it systematically appear over others. By using which we can stack the elements. Okay. Yeah, it works only on the elements that have specific positions assigned to them. Yes. Is there a concept for CSS parent selector? No. Currently, there is no support for selecting CSS parent selector. How to vertically center align a div in CSS? How to vertically center align a div in CSS? To vertically align a div center, you need combinations of what? Property that matched your layout respectively. See, vertical align middle. Attribute was found to be unique, helpful. but needs to complement with a fixed height and inline elements to be more effective. How to horizontally center a line at div in CSS? There are many CSS attributes by which you can do this. Okay, text align center. Okay, like these are all the different things that we can see by position relate. Absolutely. Can cache affect CSS in any way? Yes. In software bundles frameworks or CMS where backend caches are maintained, one needs to clear them to see the largest changes. Sometimes browsers cache also alters the presentation of the specific CSS element. Yes. Can cache affect the CSS? Yes. Is clearing floats still necessary, or is there any other way around the past that? So clearing floats, clear fix is generally recommended way to clear the float property. But overflow hidden. Overflow property value is hidden attribute also clears the area for around 99% cases. How to align div or any content in the bottom of the another div using CSS. See, for bottom relative or absolute is the perfect position. See, for bottom positioning, position relative or absolute is the perfect way to align it on the bottom of another div element. See, is there a way to apply CSS to a half character? Yes. Within the combinations of JS, you can style the characters in half, one third, and as per your choice to get desired design. Advanced CSS 3 experienced questions about 3SC guys. Can CSS be written dynamically? Yes. There are solutions with which you can write dynamic CSS. With JavaScript is the recommended. See, with the JavaScript it is recommended guys. Most recommended solutions. Preprocessors also use the dynamic CSS based on the another elements values. Like, what are CSS preprocessors? These are the techniques which are used for efficient use of CSS in multiple reusability and extensible coding like programming languages. SCSS, SCSS, LESS, and stylers are some of the most popular ways of what CSS preprocessors. See how to convert inline elements to block elements via CSS. See, elements are either inline or block elements based on their purpose to use. There are few properties which you can change inline elements to behave like a block. Display property value is what? Block. See, name some of the top CSS frameworks which are used for making websites. Bootstrap, Foundation, Material, etc. are some of the most popular CSS3 responsive web design frameworks. Responsive web design frameworks, these are all. Bootstrap, Foundation, Material, etc. used for building websites all around. And can we connect to database with CSS? No. CSS is client-side language. You need to implement server-side language for passing data in any form like PHP, ASP, JSP, etc. guys. CSS is client-side language. See, you need to implement server-side coding by using either of these scripts. Yes, PHP, JSP, ASP, active server pages is personal homepage like preprocessor, hypertext preprocessors, or Java server pages, etc. etc. This is how we can discuss few of the important interview questions of CSS guys. We have seen two sets of CSS interview questions. Okay, I request all of you to go through these questions. This set and the first set is what this one. Here we discuss 35 round questions, right? Yeah, hope everyone understood, guys. I request these two files will be uploaded. Okay, you just go through this. That's all, guys. Thank you.